So, the new Little Mermaid film is out, the new live-action version of the film. Generally, this doesn't look great, in my view. I just don't understand why the colour palette in this film looks so dull. The lighting is very dark in places, it seems. And some of the CGI looks a bit desaturated. I can't tell if that was a stylistic choice, or maybe it's just the continued trend of Disney movies having subpar CGI these days. Visually, it all just looks a bit lifeless, unbelievable and bland, but I want to focus on this article first from Deadline, dated May 28th. Little Mermaid splashes to $164 million global bow, but there's something fishy overseas as Disney pick beset by review bombing. Disney's live-action take on The Little Mermaid is doing swimmingly at the domestic box office, with a 3-day opening of $95.5 million and a 4-day projection of $117.5 million, factoring in the international box office bow of $68.3 million. That makes for an estimated $163.8 million global debut through Sunday. The offshore launch is lower than hoped for coming into the frame, but it bears noting there was something fishy going on in overseas markets with so-called review bombing in such areas as France, Korea, Germany and beyond. So correct me if I'm wrong here. It sounds like they're trying to suggest that there's some connection between negative reviews online, what they call review bombing, and the box office underperformance in certain international territories. Really? That's interesting. Could it be that maybe people don't like the movie in some places and certain demographics didn't respond well to it? I mean, the numbers don't lie. The international box office is lower than was expected, so it means a lot of people didn't go and pay to see the film overseas. Evidently, opinions about the film differ among the cinema-going audience. What a shocker. While the Rob Marshall directed update has a 95% verified audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, proving there's no accounting for taste, film ratings websites overseas, including IMDb in the UK, Brazil and Mexico, as well as Allociné in France, I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, my French is terrible, posted advisories during the rollout when negative user reviews appeared in questionable abundance. As we noted in our global preview, The Little Mermaid was expected to be more of a domestic play at the outset. However, it's fairly astonishing to see these overseas reactions, largely believed to be led by internet trolls. Yes, blame the internet trolls and not the film. It's really amazing to me to read this kind of thing. Imagine the tens of millions of dollars that Disney has to promote this film and advertise it internationally. And all it took to undermine all of those tens of millions of dollars in marketing spend was a few pesky internet trolls on review websites. Really? Is that all it took? It couldn't be that some people looked at the trailers and thought, nah, that's not for me. And regardless as to what reasons they didn't want to go and see it, or what comments they left, that's called freedom of choice, freedom of speech, freedom of thought. Some people are going to have opinions that some people don't like. Some opinions might offend some people or not make sense to them, but they have a right to hold and express those views nonetheless. Now check this out. Variety had this article also from May 28th. China box office. Fast X wins second weekend, while The Little Mermaid flop sparks debate on racism, casting and political correctness. Fast X predictably won a second weekend on top of the mainland China box office, driving its total past the $100 million mark. But the disappointing start for Disney's live-action The Little Mermaid was the bigger talking point. Fast X earned $17.6 million in China, according to data from consultancy Artisan Gateway. That was a 66% drop compared with its opening weekend, but still gave the film $110 million cumulative after 12 days and has caused estimates to be further revised upwards. The Little Mermaid, Disney's live-action revision of its classic animation tale, was only the second best performing new release of the weekend and placed 5th on the weekend chart with a poor $2.5 million. It was beaten by new release Japanese animation Sword Art Online the movie with $3.8 million in 4th place. Later in the article it says, discussion of The Little Mermaid, in which actor and singer Halle Bailey portrays the title role, again raised the question about how willing Chinese audiences are to watch films with prominent black actors. This has previously been debated around the Black Panther titles and Star Wars promotional materials. Midweek, the Global Times, a state-controlled tabloid paper, lashed out at Disney and accused it of lowering the film's potential in China by casting a black actor in the role. Many Chinese netizens said that, like Snow White, the image of the mermaid princess in Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tales has long been rooted in their hearts, and it takes a leap of imagination to accept the new cast. The same editorial accused Disney of political correctness, an argument similar to the woke accusations made by political right wing in the US, and said that the film would likely not perform well in East Asian markets. It doubled down by saying, "The controversy surrounding Disney's forced inclusion of minorities in classic films is not about racism, but its lazy and irresponsible storytelling strategy." Well, at any rate, the Chinese can scarcely be accused of taking a racist position, given that they went to see Fast X in massive numbers to the point where it topped their box office, Fast X of the Fast and Furious franchise, with an entirely racially diverse cast. You know, I'm beginning to think that maybe, for various reasons, casting choices being just one of them, people outside of the US were less interested in seeing The Little Mermaid in the cinema. And their choices are complex, and not just simply because of internet trolls or some other such nonsense. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Take care and thanks for watching. Bye bye.